It's important to properly dispose of unwanted medication or sharps. MedProject offers free and convenient disposal options near you. To learn more, call 844-MedProject or visit medproject.org.
Well, so here we are then. Okay, so as I look about this, it's been a few hours since I posted. Yes, okay, so people are telling me, oh, well, we kind of knew that he was. I mean, we kind of... Which Robin are you talking about? Are you talking about the Robin from the show, or are you actually listening to what I said and talking about the comic book Robin? You know, the badass Robin that's on the other picture that's right behind this one after I called out the Shade Room? Well, if not, sit your ass down because welcome to the J-Man Show here on J360 Radio.
It's important to properly dispose of unwanted medication or sharps. MedProject offers free and convenient disposal options near you. To learn more, call 844-MedProject or visit medproject.org.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey, what's going on, J360 Legion? How are you all doing tonight? This is J-Man, of course, here for the J-Man Show 215. And let me just go on ahead and give a special shout-out to those of you that think I'm homophobic because I went ahead and I wrote a little response to a disingenuous publication. You see, the thing about it is this. Before we really get into the meat and potatoes of this stuff, do you even comic book? Do any of you even read comic books? How many of y'all have read comic books growing up? I'm sure quite a lot of you had, and I'm sure quite a lot of you have actually enjoyed the characters in said comic book, and then you like to see where they grow, and you like to see where they go. I get it. But you got to understand, Batman's been around for well over 70 years, right? And you know, like, whereas his whole thing is very nice, especially the villains that he's fighting against and the interest that builds up over time to see them fight crime. And, you know, sometimes he has assistants like Nightwing, Robin, or even Batgirl from time to time. Now, there's been some strange stories regarding those characters, quite a lot of them, actually. But, you know, once again, as we go about this kind of stuff, I sit here and I look and I see that they published that Tim Drake is going to go on a mission of self-discovery for his sexuality. And, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, really? Okay, well, who's he fighting? Like, where is he going from here? You know, and then I get no feedback on that. Like, nobody's saying anything. And then I scroll through and I see, like, you know, the Shade Room go ahead and make a those guys are numbnuts. I'm sorry. Whoever, like, we're going to go into publications a little bit later, but I see that they wrote what they wrote regarding it, even though, like, IGN said that when Tim Drake subtly mentioned that he's seemingly coming out, you know, and then I take a look over at the Shade Room, and the Shade Room make it seem like he blatantly said he was, you know, that he's bisexual. You see, here's the funny thing about that. The narrative of today's world is interesting to me because now they just want to make people angsty, whiny, and then, of course, you know, they want to go ahead and talk about sexual things, or they want to talk about sexual preference or the identity politics. They want to talk about all those things, but they won't let these characters do what they're designed to do. You know, to be action-packed, to be exciting, to sell comic books. I mean, like, your narrative at the end of the day, it's there, but it doesn't have to be the whole blatant thing. Does Tim Drake really need to be gay? Does he really need to be any of that stuff? It's not homophobic for me to ask, but because I'm just saying this, and I'll get to a point on it. I have nothing against gay people. Gay people are okay. I have nothing against anybody on this planet unless they try to make my life harder. And the truth be told is this, or act like they got a percentage over me, and they don't, or try to cancel me based off of because I have an opinion. And as I go about my opinion on this, let me go ahead and read what I wrote. See, the thing is, they said, "Oh, Batman's sidekick Robin comes in as bisexual in DC Comics series." Okay, I went ahead and I said, this is some BS. Plus, that's Dick Grayson in the picture, not Tim Drake, when you're supposed to be referring to Tim Drake. There's 5 Robins, you didn't even show the right one. Plenty of y'all don't even read comic books, and this proves it. F out of here. And as I said that, right, because, see, the thing is, you know how Tim Drake looks. If you've actually read a comic book, you know how Tim Drake looks. He wears an awesome uniform, and the uniform has long pants and a bow staff, and he also sometimes has a cloak in addition to, like, his cape. You know, but cloaks are capes anyway, but sometimes he wears a cloak, and he, like, one way or another, you can tell that that's Batman's third student right there. And Robin is a legacy title, because Robin is a student of Batman. There are 5 of them, and I mentioned it. Like, whereas, you know, Dick Grayson later becomes Nightwing, and whereas Jason Todd later becomes Red Hood, well, after getting killed by Joker in very obscene ways. And then, of course, you got, like, Tim Drake, who's the third Robin, and then, like, he becomes Red Robin, and then there's times where he operates as Robin on his own. And then, of course, you got, like, Stephanie Brown, and I don't think Stephanie Brown has been given fair treatment in the comics. I think she does something else now. It's been a while, but she was actually a pretty decent Robin. She used a lot of gadgets, too. She was pretty smart. And then, of course, you got the 5th Robin, which is Damian Wayne, which is, like, Batman's biological son is now a Robin. You understand what I'm saying? But in this case, why, for them to be a publication, to tell you this sort of scenario, did they not show you the badass Robin, but they wanted to go ahead and show you something from the Silver Age where it's Dick Grayson wearing the hot pants? It's not even the right Robin. Do you not know how disingenuous that is? You know what that is? That's just blatantly lying. And not only that, that's flamboyant as hell, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? The fact that they're showing that. Isn't there like a narrative, and like a lot of people don't want to be stereotyped, especially gay people, and they're going ahead and they're showing that. Think about it. How really screwed up is the media nowadays to go ahead and tell you this stuff? And that's what I pointed them out about. I didn't care about Robin being gay. I mean, if you're going to go ahead and do this to these already established characters, I already know the game because I'm in media. Hello? I run J360 Productions. I know. And not to mention, I've worked in different media outlets. I know how they try to sell stuff. I know how they try to hook onto a trend. Yes, they thought Black Lives Matter was a trend. They thought that, you know, once again, Pride Month was a trend. You know how I know? Because as soon as, like, June 31st hit, right? Yeah, they still were showing off the rainbow colors and everything. But as soon as July the 1st hit, there was not a rainbow in the sky. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? That's what businesses do. They go ahead and they jump on this stuff because it's pandering to a narrative. And I called them out on it. But instead of looking at it from that way, once again, we the people are, you know, hopelessly romantic and unfortunately really, really dumb because we start to go after things and get triggered by something else. I mean, a lot of people are triggered because I spoke about the way they presented their article, but I even took IGN and they made IGN look good. How do you do that? Because you show some pretty sloppy work. That's how you do it. Because IGN, if you've read IGN like I have, they're a bunch of nutbags too. But they did a better job. And shockingly, they're not the ones at fault this time because they took the Dick Grayson photo and they showed it in addition to what their headline in their article was. You see what I'm saying? Because that is the Tim Drake Robin. Now, it might not be a big deal to some of y'all, but it's a big deal if you comment it. And it's a big deal to me because, yeah, I definitely commented. Because they were talking about something I care about as a fan. There are things that I let slide, but then there are things where it's disingenuous and it's not the truth that I don't let slide. And if you paid attention to the J-Man show, you would know I go after everybody, especially when it's disingenuous as hell. Let me just let you know that. I have well over damn near, this 5th season might go to a close soon. Matter of fact, I think we're about 3 months away from that. But I have well over 100 episodes of me going after crazy stuff that goes on in this society. And I'm going to tell you one way or another, I know about the research and I know how things go down when it becomes, hey, they're trying to sell something. And what if it, and let me just say this. Did it ever occur to you that right now the entertainment industry is a hole within itself? It is so hollow nowadays. It is ridiculous. Like, even with the Suicide Squad, I know like a lot of y'all went to go see that movie. Some of y'all talk about how good it was, but it didn't crank out the numbers that they intended, so they consider it a flop. And then not to mention the whole thing with Black Widow and all this kind of stuff. Once again, we the people are trying to push too much at too fast. We're not where we need to be at. We haven't even taken out this stupid virus like anything. And now we all got to get back into wearing masks, and who knows, we might have to go back home again. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But that's where we are. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, get mad at me because I go ahead and I speak out about, journalism that isn't honest. You know what I mean? I speak out about stuff like this. And let me tell you, right? I don't have a problem with gay people. And I've mentioned that before. And I don't need to go ahead and validate. Oh, yeah, I really wanted to take tonight's episode to go down the roster of people that I know are gay and tell you about that as a way to save face. And no, I'm not going to, because I don't need your damn validation. I've been here for a while now. And you should know me well enough to understand where I am on this whole thing. I don't need to go ahead and wave the flag around. I don't need to go ahead and put anything in my damn social media profiles just to prove the point. I am who I am. For real. It don't make no sense. You tell me you're gay, and I'm going to tell you this. Cool, I'm not. I'm straight. Totally am. And the thing about it is this. If you're a decent person, and if you and I mesh well, and we actually like each other, and we cool and all that kind of stuff, I don't think there would be a big problem about it. But I'm going to tell you about mainstream media. Mainstream media is so hungry for any sort of conflict or content that they can get. They would be more or less happy that you, me, or anybody else out here in the whole average Joe world will be arguing and all the time about different things, whether it be sexual preferences of fictional characters or all this other stuff regarding that, money, beer, women, or any sort of preference or any sort of idea, or men in some cases, or any sort of alignment regarding political. Yeah, you can't talk about politics anymore, which back in the day, your ancestors probably did because that was the talk in town at the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like they would love to see us argue about this stuff. They love to see this stuff go down in the comment section because they're looking to see what's the next 15 minutes of shame they could go ahead and run with. And they will not hesitate to go ahead and push some stupid ideologue around because that's news. You understand? If it bleeds, it reads, right? They didn't have any qualms and they didn't show any shame in going ahead and exploiting people for financial gain. And they're still doing that to this day. There's a lot of credibility here and a lot of things that they've overstepped. The rules are so shafted nowadays, especially on both sides. And it's so ridiculous. I was after Trump for a long time when I started this show. I was after a lot of people doing stupid things for a long time. And let me just tell you this. Just because you're gay doesn't mean I'll give you a medal for being gay. That's like giving me a medal for being black. Do you understand? I am ashamed of everything that is around me right now. Not J360 Productions, mind you, but I am ashamed of the people that have come on my page right here and have commented. You know what I mean? Have commented thinking that I was talking about Dick Grayson being gay. Well, you know what I mean? Or even Tim Drake. It wouldn't matter which Robin it was because at the end of the day, they're pandering. Like, mainstream media does this because guess what? They figure, hey, that's a few people we can get to go ahead and spend like $325 on our friggin' books. For 22 pages or less than that now. But what if I told you that once again, as the entertainment industry is in a state of flux right now, movies are kind of taking a hit, a big hit at that. But comic books, on the other hand, have taken an all-time low because nobody's out here buying this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's buying this crap. This stuff is out here being sold to woke culture and all this other stuff. Like, I'm not Starfire. At the end of the damn day, like, the fat little trollop on there and stuff is all sitting here telling you all this crap, where at the same time, you probably just wanted to enjoy it. You are Starfire's daughter. You have powers. There's got to be something that you find enjoyable. But no, you're just angsty and whiny like any of these other people who ever wrote this damn book. Because at the end of the day, these are not full drawn out characters. These are characters that are avatars of the people who wrote them, because guess what? They probably live a life full of holes, or they're probably not living up to expectations, or they probably got hurt by somebody in their life and they haven't gotten over it. And I'm telling you this, when you hear the term get over it, it really depends on the severity of what you went through. And I'm not going to hold it against you if you went through some trauma in your life, but you got to be stronger than the trauma. You got to find a way to remedy it. That's the growth of the human experience. We bounce back. We get stronger all the time. The second wave should be better than the first one. You understand? Don't go and repeat the same old thing. When you live something monotonous like that, no wonder you're not getting anywhere. I mean, take it from me. I mean, I could just choose not to be anything. I could choose to go ahead and die on this hill and not make you any more J360 products. I could go ahead and do that if I wanted to, lay in the fetal position, but ain't nobody going to save my ass. Do you understand? I'm all I got. And when I speak my piece and I speak my narrative, I know where I'm coming from. And hopefully, one way or another, you guys respect me enough to not even try to stifle me. Because you couldn't anyway. Nobody cancels me but me. I do what I got to do. I have a lot to say. I'm not here to be universally loved. If I have a tribe, which I do, and I hope the tribe grows stronger, and know that I will not agree with them on every damn thing, and no, I will not hold it against you on things either. And understand this, when I speak out against the media sometimes, it's usually because the media did something wrong, and they need to remedy it, and they need to be held accountable to, just like any of these damn public institutions around us. That's the reason why they get away with so much. Did you ever think about that? Do you understand? Like, really, when it gets right down to it, that's why manga is kicking comics' ass. American comic book industry is a joke right now, among anything else. All this stuff is a joke because they keep hiring these hack people who think that they're making a difference by taking established characters. Oh, make them gay. Oh, make them do all this other stuff. Make them talk about narratives that, you know, even in characterization form, it's not even coming across like them because they don't understand that character, but they get put in these sections. And then they try to hold it against the fans. But then again, let's take away the word fans, because some of y'all think fans is a dirty word. Let's just talk about, you know, reoccurring customers. Don't you know how powerful a customer can be? Especially if it's a regular customer. They're buying those books. They're buying those books every time they come. They're dedicated because they believe in those characters and they need escapist entertainment. They need to get away from this stuff for a while. But what do? You give them a helping of the same crap. And then when they talk about it, then you got the nerve to call them out of their name. See, the thing is, they're not as strong-willed as J-Man is sometimes, because here's the thing about J-Man. J-Man will and can and has done Order 66 on a lot of his social circles. And you can even ask Alan about it. And I'm going to tell you why, because he was in the room when I was doing it. Because I know that if you're not careful and if you're not speaking with your own voice, you're running with the pack and you're not leading it. And I lead the pack. And I do the best I can. And let me tell you this. Where I'm at nowadays, I am not full of patience to the point where it's like I look at this kind of stuff and think, hey, guess what? You know, maybe things will get better. No. This stuff has been bubbling ever since 2014. And I'm going to tell you, as we got from 2014 to now, because, you know, Gamergate did that whole thing with gaming journalism. Journalism in general is a joke. And it could be a lot better. And then if you ever get anything that's credible news, or if it's something that's seemingly informative, you know, you're supposed to question it, yes. But at the same time, you know, if it's something that's really credible, you got to think that they're about due for a good article. And you hope that you follow through on that article so it can actually teach you something. You would think. But where we are as a people nowadays, I am really, really disgusted. With all of them. Washington Post especially. And the Shade Room, well, they're a bunch of friggin' morons. And the fact that we got to this point, and I called them out on it too. Not here to virtue signal or anything. Not here to go ahead and say I'm an ally to this or just go ahead and say it. But at the same time, maybe I'm a little biased. Because you know why? Because I wanted to work in that industry. Yeah, I did. I wanted to be a comic writer. I wanted to go ahead and work into that and work in film at the same time. And I also wanted to, you know, delve into, helping out on the sets of certain movies based on certain properties. But God knows when that's going to happen right now, unless it's my own stuff, and which is why I started my own damn company in the first place. And where we go ahead and say this, I know some of y'all are like, well, you're speaking about American comics, but certain indie comics. Yeah, I was getting to that. Indie comics are doing fine because they knew that there was a sinking ship ahead and they're getting off of it. Quite a lot of people, big players that were actually working on Batman comics have actually left. And then not only that, AT&T, before they sold off Warner over to Discovery, they were ready to go ahead and sell DC Comics to Comics. They were ready to go ahead and cut that right out. They saw nothing marketable about it. And then there are people who are actually going to buy the comics, but they're not going to buy this new crap. Oh, no. They're going to buy back issues. They're going to go ahead and they're going to look at something that's going to take them away from all this crap that woke culture made, and then they're going to go ahead and they're just going to say, well, this is fine. I don't have to look into anything else anymore because there's nothing good over there. And when you really think about it, Marvel's just as guilty too. Both houses of ideas are stale. And it's sad. It's really disgusting. I mean, if you're out there and you're making the indie market stuff, I mean, I'm behind you every step of the way. I have nothing but respect for y'all. Y'all go ahead and you make your comic books. You make all the stuff that comes together, because at least then we know you keeping the spirits alive. And not only that, you're making this stuff work out for people and you're not pandering. Whereas with these people, oh, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll make established characters gay. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about some more other woke stuff here. We'll go ahead and we'll not have the villains be villains. We'll go ahead and not, it's like, give it a rest. You had your moment. You had your moment. And speaking of which, while we're on the subject about this, I don't care if your character is gay. Here's the thing. When I was coming up, when it turns about writing a character and when it turns about actually getting things across, one, you got to make that character grow. And two, you got to make sure that character is more than just, oh, he's insane. Oh, he's happy all the time. Oh, she's gay. Oh, it's got to be more than that. There's got to be a reason for me to give a damn about this character if I'm going to be spending production money on it, or if I'm going to be spending money in the theater to see it, or if I'm going to read about it. There's got to be more. I mean, oh, you're just going to tell me that? Well, let me just go ahead and utilize some of my teachings that I did have when, I had staff in J360 Productions. I have staff coming in now, but a long time ago, I used to do this when we had our little writing setups. Jay, my character's gay. Oh, and then what? And they were like, well, they go on a journey. And then what? Well, so the stepfather doesn't want him to go on a journey. And then what? And you see, as I keep saying, and then what, some of y'all might say, oh, well, that's toxic masculinity. Shut up. It's not toxic masculinity. What it is, as a writer, you got to know what your 3 acts are going to be. What is the story about? Where are we going from here? It has to be more than sexual orientation. It has to be more than financial gain. It has to be more than that. It has to be an adventure. It has to be growth. It has to be something that's going to lead them along the way. And not only that, makes me want to root for them. Makes me want to be there the whole time. Like I'm a part of the whole fellowship of where we're going. You understand? That's what it's about. Like, if Tim Drake goes on this whole thing to find his sexuality, that's cool and everything. But is he fighting the Court of Owls? Is he fighting against Ra's al Ghul? Is Azrael coming back? Is Bane in town? What is Poison Ivy doing at this time? You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a wealth of stories that can be told, and you can do anything when it comes to these characters. If I ever had control of any of those established characters in DC and Marvel, yeah, I would have them go through different scenarios. But like I say, usually their sexual orientation is not at the top of my to-do list. And like, if anything else, like, I could care less. Sometimes it's best to just not give a damn. And it's funny because some people will call you out on that too. Some people will actually take the time out of their day to go ahead and say, you don't seem to care. Well, you know what? Because of all the nonsense and meeting fine individuals like you, yeah, I pretty much have no dog in the fight and I don't care. I don't care as much as these already established institutions do. They don't care about you. They want your money. If anything else, it's because it's trendy right now. It's news right now. Just think about it. As soon as, like, when the aliens are discovered, and then, at the end of the day, the aliens start talking and having a good time, they're going to be all over the place too, and they're going to be thinking about any of us. So, yeah, that's the way it usually goes, because guess what? They're following the trend. And you know what? It's only a matter of time before stuff gets reset, and then there's going to be another thing they follow up on. Because that's how disgusting the industry is. And it's the dark side of the whole thing, and it's so shady, and it's so scummy, and, like, it vexes me. Like, I love the media industry. I do. I love making this content for y'all. I love comics, and I love movies, and I love plays, and I just love the people that are involved. I really do. But then there are times where it's BS all over the place. And I don't have the patience for it. I just look at it from time to time and I'm like, we were all coming together as a unit. There should be nothing in the way of that. And like when it comes to, just because this is my show, you don't have to agree with me. I said this all the way back in episode 1. You don't have to agree with me. And then as I speak my piece, just respect it. What if I told you that you could disagree with somebody and still be friends with them by the end of the week? You can still be friends with me and all that kind of stuff, but just understand this, right? Unless you're doing something about your narrative, or unless you're actually making something that piques my interest, I can't be there for you sometimes. And like, here's the thing. I got your back, but if you're going to give me a reason to throw you out based off of toxic behavior, or based off of just, hey, thinking that, once again, I'm a homophobe, which I am not, which is very disgusting, and you want to call somebody out of their name, but at the same time, you want to talk about acceptance, you have a problem. And you're friggin' wrong. And I am not here for that. When you see that logo come on and you hear that theme song playing, I'm here to talk about what needs to be talked about. And then at the same time, I make sure that I have credible notes, because I have to have those. I make sure like I have an idea and really know what the hell I'm talking about. You can learn something, Shade Room. It's the facts. That's what I have. The fact that I come here every week and I do a show and I speak about the craziness that goes on in our society. I speak about the stupidness that goes on social media. And then there's times where, the best thing to do about social media when it's really, really friggin' annoying is to turn it off and don't even worry about it for the rest of, instead of 1 day, let's go for 2. And instead of 2 days, let's go for 3. While we're at it, if I didn't have a business to build and if I didn't have a production company to make, I wouldn't use it at all. And it's really damn disgusting where we are. I would say that there's hope for us to go ahead and make this stuff happen. I would say that there was hope for everything to improve. But you know what? Maybe y'all want this. Maybe y'all need to sink. Maybe Ultron from Age of Ultron was right. Maybe we needed that whole damn city dropped on us. Because this stuff doesn't make any damn sense. We've gotten to the point where, we're entitled, we're selfish, we think that the pandemic is over and we can go do whatever the hell we want. Delta saw an end to that. And then when you speak out against a publication for doing something disingenuous, you can be seen as something that you are not. Because, hey, I really need y'all to tell me who I am. You can't tell me who I am. Because, dare I say it, I already know who I am. I know who I am every damn day. I know what I do. I know what I'm responding to. And I know who I want in my social circle, and I know who I don't want in my social circle. And the truth is, I don't need to go ahead and express that entirely, because I lead by example. You're not going to stop me, woke culture, because you just can't. You're not going to cancel me, because you can't. You're not going to do any of those things, because guess what? I won't let you. All right? And truth be told is this. You might try. Some of y'all might be watchdogging me. Some of y'all might be going ahead and say, oh my God, this is a monster. Well, you know what? Let me just tell you this. I'm not just a monster. I'm a force of nature entirely. I come and go as I please, and I do what I like to do. And needless to say, I'd really, really, really enjoy pissing people off. Because guess what? That's where we are now. And I have no problems being who I am. You understand? And if any of what I said tonight pissed you off, well, guess what? I know who my true friends are, and I know what I'm all about. And I don't need anybody's damn validation to be such. And that's what you would like to throw at me, isn't it? Well, guess what? I just threw it at you. And I'm done with this crap. Yeah. You want Robin to be gay? Well, guess what? He already is. And let's be honest here. We'll see how many books it's going to sell, because it's all about money. It's not about anything else other than money. And then when you look back at this, after you're done being mad at me, you're going to be like, J-Man was right. And by that point, I don't even care anymore. I probably won't even remember this episode, because I'd have moved on to something a lot more important, or there's things that are more worth my time. And then the thing about it is, the best part is just be excellent to each other. Just really accept one another without all the baggage. And maybe then we could do better. Maybe then my faith in humanity could be a lot bigger than what it is, instead of just ground zero. Maybe. But you know what, though? That's all I have for y'all right now. I got a Hangouts episode happening later in the week. And tomorrow's a production day, so you don't really get too much of anything. And while I'm on it, I'm just going to ride the wave of all the insanity that I probably just pissed off as I got to this point. But you know what, though? If y'all still here, this is J-Man signing off. Take it easy.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.